Hi, I'm Mort Cooper, your host on Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. If I were to talk like that, I'd be out of voice, and I'd be out of a job. I'd be out of almost everything our society esteems, and that is respect, listenability, buyability, soundability, and more. Credibility comes from the speaking voice. People are losing their voices in record numbers in our society. They believe they're born that way, they're fated to lose the speaking voice. Nonsense, folks, don't buy it, don't believe it. If you have a cold, I have one, talk into the 2/3 solution. Don't let your voice sag down here. If you have nodes, polyps, contact ulcers, you're losing your voices. We have a guest with us, Jo Powers. She's going to tell you how she regained her speaking voice without surgery by what I do called direct voice rehabilitation. That means focusing your voice up there, getting the voice off the bottom, and polyps, growths that occur on the vocal cords because of misuse, are reabsorbed into the vocal fold itself. The vocal folds are at the 5th and 6th cervical vertebrae of the neck. There are 7 cervical vertebrae. And the voice is built on a megaphone basis from the top of your eyebrows over here down to the bottom of your vocal cords. It's about 6 to 9 inches in length, and it's broken up. It's called a throat. It's called the upper throat around your nose, the middle throat around your mouth, and the lower throat around your voice box. Most people, if not nearly all who are losing their voice, talk from the lower throat, and that's where the culprit is. I call it the danger zone. You don't want to talk down there. People like Jo Powers talked from the lower throat. We'll talk with her, ask her how she did it, how she got better, so you can try it for yourself. It's not self-help all the way. I want you to understand, if you have a problem with nodes, polyps, or contact ulcers, or other serious problems, get professional help. We're going to show you what we did in my office and how Jo got her voice back. Getting Back Your Voice is the title of today's segment on Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. Let's welcome Jo Powers. Jo?
Hello.
Jo, what happened to you a few years ago?
My voice was very deep, and I couldn't talk high at all. I was on the phone 24 hours a day, communicating between the police department and my job.
What did you, what were you doing?
I was a liaison
officer,
right, working for the probation department, and working with the police department, and my voice was getting progressively worse. So I went to the doctor because I thought I had laryngitis. And he told me, no, it wasn't laryngitis. I had nodules on my vocal cords. Mm-hmm. And so he referred me to Dr. Cooper. Mm-hmm.
He said you had nodules or polyps?
He said I had nodules.
Nodules, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have nodules.
Yes. And it was very bad because my voice would stop. I would be talking and my voice would fade out. Mm-hmm. And it was hard and difficult to breathe. My breathing was bad. And so I was very discouraged until he referred me to Dr. Cooper. And when I went there, I was skeptical.
Skeptical about me?
Yes.
How could you be that way?
Because I didn't know anything about voice rehabilitation, and I didn't see how it could help me, really. I thought it was more of a physical thing that was wrong with me.
You were expecting a surgery?
Of some sort, yes.
And the physician didn't want to do a surgery?
No, he said it wasn't necessary. They were small, and he thought through therapy it could be removed in a period of time. Mm-hmm. So I believed him.
How long ago was this?
This has been about 7 years ago.
7 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What happened with your voice? Why did you talk deep?
I liked the image. It was sexy, I thought, and I didn't realize that I really liked it, and that was why I did it until after I went to voice rehabilitation. Mm-hmm. But I liked it because everybody identified with me, and it was sexy on the phone, people told me. So I liked it.
How long had you been doing that?
Oh, I guess about 2 or 3 years before I realized something was wrong.
When did the symptoms start, and what were they?
I was singing. I used to be a singer, and I sang soprano. And then I couldn't sing soprano anymore. I had strained my voice, I knew that.
Singing or speaking?
Singing and speaking. I had strained my voice, but I decided that I was trying to sing soprano, and I was singing alto and tenor. And I knew something was wrong because I'd always sing high C, and so I was concerned about it, and they kept giving me medication for my voice, and it wasn't working.
How long were you on medication?
About 3 years.
3 years on medication?
Prior,
What
yes.
kind of medication were you on?
It was supposed to clear up my throat, they said postnasal drip, sinusitis, and it never went away. It would go away for a little period of time. But the voice was always the same, very low.
Dr. Gershon Lesser has said that he's a well-known internist here in Los Angeles, that 3/4 of the patients that he sees they complain of postnasal drip, sinusitis, and allergy, have a voice problem and don't know it. So that's what was happening.
That's correct. That's exactly what I was told.
But you were on this medication for 3 years.
Yes.
It didn't help.
Didn't help at all.
Then what? You went back to your
So
physician.
I went back again, and I had my throat tested again, and they told me I had nodules on my vocal cords.
Did they find the nodules before, 3 years before?
No, they didn't indicate it to me. I think it happened after the first time I'd gone.
In other words, you continued to use your voice, and it wasn't
same
getting
way.
better because of the medication.
Right.
And then eventually it developed into nodules, and then they knew that you were misusing the voice. I do want to
That's
tell the
correct.
audience something, if
Yes,
I can, if
that's
you join
correct.
with me. As I said, the voice is built on a megaphone basis from the top of your eyebrows down to the 5th and 6th cervical vertebrae. What happens is that physicians may not hear the misuse of the voice from the lower throat. They're not trained in voice. It's not a negative to physicians. They're simply not trained. So if you're talking all the way down here, and nothing is showing up on the vocal cords, there's no nodules or polyps or contact ulcer, there may be irritation. It's believed by physicians quite often that it's due to allergy or postnasal drip or sinusitis, or there's some pollen involved. So they try medication, steam, and the ancillary approaches. The tired voice, the misuse of the voice, I call voice suicide, is not picked up too often, and the patient continues to use the wrong voice until the voice tires, and then it eventuates into growths on the vocal cords, such as nodules or polyps or contact ulcer or premalignancies. It can even go to cancer. It usually can, not usually, but it does at times wind up with spastic dysphonia. The misused voice usually eventuates into something other than a tired voice, and all of these problems can occur off the misuse or the tired voice, and that's what Joe was talking about. What was the feeling that you had when you were talking? Was it fatigue, effort?
Oh, it was effort and fatigue, both. Very tired. Didn't want to talk very long. But my job was so stressful because I was on the phone all day. And I had to do the job. So I could continue to do it. I never took off work. I just kept doing it. And then I thought, after I went to the doctor, and he told me that he wanted me to come and see you, I said, well, what can he do for me? He says, he's going to help you, and I don't think you'll have to have an operation because they're not that big. But he said, I want you to go and see him. Just go see him. Let him give you a prognosis, and then let me know what's going on. And that's what I did.
What did I tell you?
You told me you could be corrected in a year or less, and you told me that I had to do my exercises, and you told me things that I must do and find my right key, pitch for my voice, my normal voice. You told me that it never tires, that I should never,
use it correctly,
if it's used correctly. Yeah. And I didn't believe you.
You didn't believe anything I said.
No, I thought you were kidding. And I really thought that you were going to do it for me. I really didn't think that I could do it myself. It took a while, about 3 months, before I really realized that I had to do it.
You were waiting for me to do it.
I was waiting for you to do it for me.
Yes. When I told you I couldn't do it for
That's
you,
right.
I could only direct you to.
That's right, you did.
And
so then I began to take it seriously.
You tried to get the focus up here.
Yes,
you were sitting
I
in
did.
a machine, seeing if you can get your voice up there.
Trying to get my voice. The moment I heard it, my voice, the right pitch, I knew it was my normal voice. And I was glad about that, you know, because I knew that it was possible.
You didn't like it too much.
No, I didn't in the beginning. But I began to love it because I put notes everywhere, began to practice all the time, and my breathing and everything.
You practiced on midsection breathing.
Yes.
You weren't using your midsection.
No, I wasn't. I was talking through my nose.
Yeah, and upper chest.
Yes, I was.
So you worked at this, and you met other patients in the office.
Yes, I did.
You had to be reassured that your new voice was right.
Yes, I did.
You felt you were loud, offensive.
Yes, I did. In the beginning. Yes, I did.
You went back on the job.
Yes.
You had recovered your voice.
Yes.
While you were recovering your voice on the job, you were on the job.
Yes.
Did anybody say you were loud?
No, they didn't.
But you thought you were.
I thought I was. Yes. I thought I was high-pitched. And I wasn't. Everybody liked my voice.
But you weren't sure about it.
But I wasn't sure. That's correct.
You felt you were straining in the new voice in the sense that it was effortful to get up there.
Yes.
I said that the strain would disappear.
Yes, you did tell me that, and it did.
Where did you feel the strain? Do you remember? Did you feel it under here?
Under here, I think under here. Because I had really begun to talk so low. You know, it felt so strange to be talking and not effortless. Because my voice would just fade out before.
And the old voice?
The old voice would fade out.
How long did it take before it faded out?
Not too long, about 3 months.
No, but in the sense, how long did it take when you were using the old voice during the day? It's when you woke up.
The old voice?
Yeah.
Oh, it took me, I guess about 8 weeks or something like that. Because I remember the first month or so, I was very hesitant about the exercises. I wasn't doing them properly. Then I began to do them. Once I found my correct voice pitch, I began to do
I
them.
want to go back a little.
Okay.
When you were having your voice trouble, when you were talking, how long did your voice last when you got up in the morning to using your voice on the
Not
phone?
very long. Maybe I'd be talking for about, I think within 10 or 15 minutes.
What the audience has got to understand,
Yes.
and I want them to understand it, is that if you're using your voice incorrectly, the voice will fade and fail. If you're using it correctly, your voice will remain clear and efficient throughout the day under normal circumstances. So if you're losing your voice, you are doing something wrong to your voice. Now listen to me as I talk in the lower throat, and I say, "Hi, I'm Mort Cooper, I'm talking to you like that." That's voice suicide. That's the lower throat. That's one area you don't want to talk in. You want to get your voice focused in the 2/3 solution. That's the balanced oral and nasal resonance. You don't want to talk like that, and you don't want to talk like this all the way here. You want to talk over here. In this area, get heard, liked, and listened to. We're going to go back and talk with Jo about what she was doing. You began to realize, as you were talking throughout the day, it's effortful. You got medication on medication for 3 years. And then finally you got some voice therapy. And you fought that thinking it had to be the doctor giving you some magical cure. You wanted somebody to do something for you.
That's correct.
When did you change?
After I started coming to you, it was about 2 months before I changed. Because suddenly one day I just realized you couldn't do it for me. I had to do it for myself.
What changed you? What was
when I heard
the light that went on?
The light that went on was when I was in that room exercising, and I found my pitch. Because I never dreamed that it would be possible.
Why did you dream it was possible?
You gave me hope, because it had been like that for so long. And I really, until I started doing the exercises, and you talked to me about it, and I began to understand how it worked, I didn't believe it before. And all at once, when you made it clear to me, and I found my pitch, and I started exercising, and it was effortless, and my voice never tired, I realized I was improving. And from that point on, I kept getting better and better and better.
You have a very sultry, attractive, sexy, go voice. It's giving, it's warm, it's friendly. Do you have any trouble with this voice anymore?
I have no trouble with it at all.
Because you feel it up here in
I do.
two-thirds. And you have the lows of your voice.
Yes.
But it's not in the lower throat.
No, it isn't. I love this voice.
Do people say anything about this
People
voice?
love my voice. I get compliments all the time about my voice.
But people complimented your old voice.
They did, but they said it's different. It's different, but it's still good. They like to hear me talk. All the time I meet people and they always say, "I love to hear you talk."
With this voice?
With this voice.
So you can have a very attractive,
yes,
warm, outgoing voice. You're going to have huskiness in your voice. You're going to have friendliness. You're going to have all you want and more without pathology.
Without pathology.
What happened to the vocal cord nodules when you went back to
they were gone. The doctor, I went to 3 or 4 doctors, and they were all gone, and they haven't regrown back.
How long has it been?
And it's been 7 years. And I still practice.
And it's been a period of time that tells you you can use your voice well, easily, throughout the day.
All day.
Does your voice fade or fail throughout the day?
Never. Not
so
anymore.
It just holds up?
It holds up all day. Never tires.
What do you think about that?
I love it. I love voice rehabilitation. I'm your greatest advocate.